We are recording and we are going live. All right, good morning, kids. Hooty hoo! Welcome to today's edition of the Kong Family Show. We have a special guest here this morning. I believe she's coming to us from the great Northwest, up there in somewhere around the Seattle area. I think I saw her wearing a shirt saying that she's a Seattle Seahawks fan, and so, I mean, we all have our problems. Of No, actually, the Seahawks are pretty dang good this year, and but I'm a Ram fan, so I've been a Rams fan since I was a little kid. And so anyway, yeah. So we got Ricky and Paul on the live side. Good morning, boys. And today we're going to visit with Tara Murphy Herring, and we're going to hear about her story. I'm excited to hear her story. As everybody knows here at the Kong family, what we're trying to do is share stories, because there's an old saying that says stories or facts tell and stories sell. And the truth of the matter is that we're trying to change the world. We've got a really super simple goal. It's no big deal. We just want to change the world. And people might think that's kind of crazy, but we around here at the Kong family, we know that it's not crazy at all. We're just the ones that are crazy. And so we're just going to go ahead and keep on being crazy and having a blast and changing the world one glass of 9.5 at a time. And one awesome, informative guest. And so anyway, Tara, it's good to have you here this morning, hon. Thank you so much for taking your time to come on here and visit with us. And so you're up there in the Seattle area, correct?
Yes, I'm up in Arlington, just north of Seattle.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, well, I was just up there a couple months ago now. And that was a lot of fun, being able to get up there and see some of my friends that I've met them like this, but I never had a chance to give them a real hug. And so I got that opportunity. That was definitely awesome. And so it's always great getting to meet your friends in person. And so, but anyway, Tara, I want to get right to it. I'm going to ask you a question that I always ask everybody first, because this is what I'm really curious about. How, when, and why did you get involved with Kong and Water, and were you a skeptic like I was?
How was Paul introduced me, and that was probably almost 4 years ago. I was somewhat of a skeptic, but he took me to a demo, and it was at the spaghetti factory. And one of the main things that hit me hard was when they were talking about the chlorine. And the one key that always stays in my mind was, what do they put in your water and in your bottled water so organisms don't grow? And it was chlorine. Why do they put it in your water? Chlorine. And then what are you showering in every day? And how long are you taking a shower? And what percent of your body is, absorbing that water? And I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, I take about a 5-minute shower, and a lot of that's going in my body. And then he's like, well, what are we? Aren't we an organism? Aren't we a live organism? Well, what do you think it's doing to our body? It's slowly killing us over time. Just how much time does it take before it kills you?
Yeah.
And that really hit me hard. I've had, somewhat of a biology background. So I was like, yep, over time, it's going to kill you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, in Bob Wright's book, this book right here, which I highly recommend people get and read and implement the things that he recommends in there. But he has a whole chapter in there just on chlorine and fluoride. And personally, I think I call it legalized genocide, because that's literally what it is. The government is literally poisoning us, and they're doing it very slowly, and it's causing so many health problems. The thing about chlorine and fluoride is they both kick iodine out.
And that was part of my problem. I have a thyroid problem, and I
Yep.
didn't understand that. And I'm working on it. I still am trying to work on it, and it has gone up and down. And as I started doing more research, and then he also, when I went to the Bob Wright in Bellevue, he was talking about how iodine used to be in bread, and now they put bromine in it. And I'm like, this is all starting to make sense, you know?
Yep.
So I'm having to do a lot of research to try to get my thyroid back on track and use the natural things.
So how much Kong's water do you try to drink every day?
I drink a gallon a day.
Awesome.
And I have a girlfriend that I'm started on. They're working at trying to buy a machine, and her and I try to chug a gallon before 3 o'clock every day.
Awesome. That's going to do you a lot of good as time goes by, you know. And as a lot of people probably are not aware, when you're drinking a gallon of Kangen water, that's like drinking 6 to 8 gallons of regular water.
And that's what I told her, and she's seen a difference. She has acid reflux, and I said, here, start drinking my water. And she sees the difference already. And so I was like, okay, let's try to do a gallon every day, and let's force each other to do it. And I can tell a difference when I'm not drinking it. I think it was you that showed the about being in front of a computer and what it does to you and the blood. And I'm like, okay. And I would get lethargic, and I wasn't drinking my water. And so I started drinking my water more often. I'm like, well, this is all making sense because of the, you know, the wavelengths. And, you know, I'm in front of a computer 8-9 hours a day, and I have that headset on. You got to drink your water, keep your blood flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell, I can tell the difference when I'm not doing it.
Yeah, for those out there that are not familiar with that whole situation, when it comes to all these EMF waves and things like that, electromagnetic frequencies, it's quite amazing how much damage they do to our cells. We did a video on it last week, or maybe it was earlier this week. I don't know. Time flies.
I can't remember, but it was amazing.
But yeah, you could see the difference in the blood, how, you know, you'd have these perfectly round blood cells that were just moving along and everything was kosher, and then they go stand next to a smart meter for 2 minutes and take their blood again and look at it, and now all the cells are all discombobulated, and the cell linings are rupturing, and they're all kinds of weird shapes. And yeah, you know, that was some pretty hard hitting stuff right there. I want to get our buddy Sebastian Restrepo. He has one of those microscopes, and he does tests on blood every now and again to you know, show that kind of thing. And I've been reaching out to him since I saw that and going, dude, man, you need to go stand next to a smart meter for a few minutes and do your blood again and show people what's going on with that, and show people how they can, because with this 5G that's coming out and all that kind of stuff, you know, we really need this water to protect ourselves from this onslaught that's coming down the pike.
Well, I'm in front of 3 monitors every single day, scheduling people. What does that do to you? I'm not getting 1 monitor, I'm getting 3 monitors.
Right.
So I'm getting double whammy. By the end of the day, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so lethargic. And so I try to, by 3 o'clock, I'm trying to get a gallon down, because by that was when my crash time is around 2 or 3.
Yeah.
I couldn't handle it. And now it makes sense.
So you've been utilizing the water, and it's been helping you, you know, avoid that crash time.
Yeah.
During the day.
And I cut out coffee. I cut out sugar. I have had fibromyalgia for about 20 years. So I knew I had to cut that out. I knew that was a big part of it. And in the last 3 months, I've just cut out the caffeine and cut out the sugar and really hit the gallon of water hard. And it's helped tremendously. I don't have the pain. I don't have any of that. When Paul got me started on the water, they wanted me on I had high cholesterol, high blood pressure that ran in my family. And I knew I had to do something different. And the doctor put me on medication. I did not want to take it. So I drank the water for a month, went back into the doctor, and she's like, wow, your cholesterol's down, your blood pressure's down. She goes, just keep doing the medicine. And I said, I'm not taking it. I haven't taken it. I refuse to take it. And she's like, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm drinking water. She goes, I said, do you want to know about it? She goes, no, just keep doing what you want to do. I said, you don't want to know about the water and how it's helping? She goes, nope. And I'm like, okay.
Yeah, they're not interested in real solutions. They're only interested in what drugs they can shove down people's throats.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting. When we were at that speech by Bob Wright, I remember one thing very clearly from that, how he was talking about people that get on these cholesterol and blood pressure drugs. They're literally starting their process of dying by doing that when they start the ball rolling down the hill.
Yep.
By taking those things, and they're literally poison to the body. They're just a false Band-Aid.
Yep.
What we're doing is giving the machine what it needs so it can fix itself. So I love to say, so it can become its own mechanic.
Yeah, you have to. I've learned you have to heal your body with inside out, and you know it took 20 years to get that way. You can't have. It's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah.
And I'll tell a little background. Part of the reason I had to kind of change my health and kind of know my background and know my health. Both my parents died before the age of 65. My grandparents both died before the age of 80. So I knew I had to do something about my health. I wanted to be around for my kids. I didn't want them to lose me before the age of 65. My dad died from a heart attack, and my mom died from Alzheimer's. So I was like, I got to do something different. I got to start taking care of myself. And so I was blessed that Paul showed me this, and I've had to change my ways. So I have an Anespa and I have a K8 now.
That is fantastic. I am so happy to hear that. So tell us about your Anespa. What do you think about that thing?
My Anespa has been a lifesaver for two reasons. With my thyroid, I always had very dry skin. Now it's not dry. It's just normal. I had always thin hair. I couldn't keep my hair thick. I couldn't have it long like it is now. I always had to have it really short. Now it's thick and I can have it really long. This little girl right here used to have alopecia. She would have no hair at all. And the chlorine was killing her. And now I bathe her in the Anespa all the time, and her hair has grown back really super thick.
Yeah, she's a big old FurBall. Look at that little cutie.
And I just shaved her, so she's looking like a little lion. And the water's helped her. She's 13 years old, and she has a little bit of trachea collapsing, but it has helped her tremendously. And I noticed, like, when I take her to a groomer, I always forget, and then she starts losing her hair, and I'm like, what is going on? And then it's the chlorine that they bathe her in.
Yeah,
it happens that quick.
This is good stuff to know, because, you know, what I always tell people is that Kangen water, it makes everything better. It doesn't even matter what it is. Everything.
Right.
Every single thing there is better that you add it to, that you put it with. It just simply makes everything better. And you know, the puppy's hair, and your hair and your skin and all that stuff, it just simply makes everything better, and it's worth every penny of the investment. And you know, something I really love is something that Dr. Barry Aw said, that people might find this this a useful thing to talk about, and that is that he says, if you think this machine is too expensive, you simply do not understand how the human body works. And that hit me really hard, because this machine is not only not expensive, it is worth every penny. And if if these machines really sold for what they're worth, they'd be like $15,000.
Right.
It wouldn't be no $5,000. They'd be like $15,000.
Well, and if you think about it, how many people pay for insurance, and how much is their deductible? Their deductible is between $2,500 and $5,000 usually. I work in the insurance industry, and they're paying $5,000. Wouldn't you pay $5,000 to avoid to go in before you go see a doctor? I had I work for a podiatrist, and this is really sad. And I've tried to talk to him about the water, and he just won't listen. He works for wound care. I see people come in with ulcers, wounds, and I try to talk to him a little bit about the water. I have kind of a gray line there because I can't sell my business there, but I can kind of talk about it. Mm-hmm. And I've had a couple people there that have had wounds, ulcer wounds, for like 5 years. And I'll just kind of give them my card and say, give me a call, go to my website, this water could help you. And a couple of them were on where they had to have their foot amputated. And I'm like, you really might want to look at this because this may help you. And they're like, no, it's just water. And they ended up having to have their foot amputated. And I'm like, oh, it's so aggravating, because you want to help them, and their mindset is so much on getting the quick fix.
Yeah. Yeah, there is no such thing. And I love your attitude, Tara. I love your attitude about this, because when I got involved with this company, I didn't want anything to do with the business side of it. I bought the machine. My wife and I bought the machine because it made sense for our health. And ever since I read this book, I like to keep this handy, this in World Without Cancer. I read this clear back in 1993. And that book right there changed the whole course of my life, because it made me start thinking about my health from an internal standpoint. And at that point in time, I was only 27 years old. And when you're 27, you think you're king of the earth, disease, what's that? Whatever. And, you just think you're invincible when you're young. But I read that book, and it literally changed my thought process. And from there on, I started doing things proactively to help with my health. And what I learned about Kangen water is that it's such a crucial component of the health equation that once I learned about it, I had to tell people. I had to. I can't not. Right. I can't shut up. Sorry, I just can't do it. It's not possible. And,
yep.
So I get the feeling that that's kind of the way you are as well, and that you just you've got to do it because you've got a heart.
I have a heart. I'm very compassionate and very empathetic. And it saddens me to watch people die that I know, that I've talked to, and they don't want to listen. And that could have helped them. So then it even hurts more. And so one of the guys that came in, that he'd been coming in for 8 years with his foot, and he lost his foot. And it just killed me to know that he could have saved his foot, and there was nothing I could do. But those are the people you have to say, okay, you got to let it go. You can't help everybody, but you can do your best. And like I think Dan Adlin said, you just have to kind of keep dripping it to them. And maybe one day it'll go, ding, hey, I get this. Not everybody's going to get it over time, and you can only keep trying a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
I mean, it took me 3 years almost to get one person to buy a machine. But you know, they knew the worth, and it just took them that much time, and that's all you can do.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I'm sure happy for you that you kept on drinking it. And, it's like, this is something that as time goes by, I tell people all the time, you're going to have this technology. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
Are you going to get it now before everybody else? Or are you going to wait until after everybody else already has it, and you got to get it because you want to keep up with the Joneses? That's up to you. You can either get on board the train now while the train's rocking and rolling, and you can build something, you can build yourself a legacy, or you can just wait. But either way, I promise you, this is just like the microwave oven of 1967. Back in 1967, if the Amana Corporation would have come up to you and said, hey, if you buy this microwave, you can help us market them. You can, and these are going to be in everybody's house. I'm sure there were plenty of people who said, yeah, right.
Right.
But yeah, now they're in every house. Every house has one. They're in every business. Every break room in every business has a microwave oven in it. The only difference is this is actually good for you, where microwave ovens are actually horrible for you. And, my wife and I, we don't even use our microwave oven anymore. The only thing we'll use it for is to heat some water up to heat up our syrup. But we'll make nice hot water and then put a little thing of syrup down in that water that's really hot. We used to actually microwave the syrup. But once I realized just how horrible microwave ovens are for you, I just can't do it anymore.
I have a hot pot that keeps water hot all the time.
Oh, there you go. See, that's a great way to go there. And yeah, there's just so many better ways to do things. And that's one of the things that is such a blessing about being involved with this incredible family of people. And, when it comes to the Kong family, my thought process is that if you have a Kangen water machine, then you're part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be part of the family? Tough. You got a Kangen machine, so you're part of the family. But yeah, at the end of this book, World Without Cancer, he said something that I think will resonate with you. I think it resonates with all of the family. He said, you now have the ability to live in a world without cancer. And the only reason you have this ability is because someone out there somewhere was gracious enough to bring this information to your attention. Can you do any less for others? And that just hit me like a brick all those years ago. And so I've been sharing the story for all these years because I can't do any less for others. And it's the exact same way, the exact same thing when it comes to sharing the magic, the incredible gift that is Kangen water.
Well, here's one for you. Our facility guy came in yesterday to fix our blind, and I had my Kangen water bottle out, and he goes, oh, you drink Kangen water? And I said, yeah. I said, do you know about it? He goes, yeah, I have a machine, but my dad has it right now. He has brain cancer. I said, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, I took it over to him, and he started drinking it, and he, within a month or two, his brain cancer shrank, and the doctors wanted to know what he was drinking, and they told him, I'm drinking Kangen water, and I went all to raw vegetables to get my body alkaline. I said, well, that's awesome. And I said, well, do you have an Anespa? And he goes, what's that? And I said, well, it's a shower unit. And I said, if you know all about the Kangen water, then you should know about the Anespa. So we started talking about the Anespa. He goes, so I gave him my card, and I said, go look at it and then give me a call. He goes, definitely. He goes, because I understand your body's 75%, and if you're taking a shower, he totally understood it. And he goes, well, my cousin actually got cancer last year, and they were sneaking Kangen water and vitamin C up into his room after chemotherapy, and they couldn't figure out why his blood counts were really good afterwards, and they kept going, what's going on? And they're like, we're giving him Kangen water and vitamin C, and they told them they had to stop it. So as soon as they stopped it, the counts went down, and he started declining, and they had to start sneaking it up to him, and they took him out of the hospital to get him better.
Yeah. I would have told them to stuff it in their ear. That's what I would have told
Well,
them.
that's basically what they did when they took him back out, because he was declining so fast. And they took him back home and put him back on the King and Water and vitamin C routine.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm tickled to hear that. That's the kind of stuff
Which
that,
is like, wow, what a, he wouldn't have said anything, but he saw my King and Water bottle there and said, hey.
well, that's the thing, hon. That's why people coming onto this show is so important, in my opinion, because this is going to get recorded. I mean, it's being recorded, and it's going to go up on YouTube onto our channel, and it'll be there for forevermore for people to share at will. And you just never know who's going to have that same situation. There's probably 1 million people out there who have fibromyalgia. There's people out there in droves with thyroid issues. There's, 1 out of every 2 people is going to get cancer now. It's that bad.
Right.
It's like anything the government declares war on, you're going to get more of it, whatever it is. And, it's just cancer. You're standing next to somebody. This is something that Bob Wright talked about in his book, and that, you're standing next to somebody. One of you two is going to get cancer.
Exactly.
Are you that person who says, oh, no, it's not going to be me, as you're guzzling down your Coke and taking a shower in your chlorinated and fluoridated water, and no, it ain't going to be me. It's going to be him. It's going to be her, And it's like, it's 1 out of every 2 now, for crying out loud. What the heck has this war done?
I mean, I had 3 aunts and my grandma all had cancer.
Yeah. So I'm
beating the odds.
Why you would want to, look a different direction. I mean, that's the thing about that book, World Without Cancer. When I read that all those years ago, I was on a learning kick, and I was looking for something to read, and I was looking at this giant wall of books, all of them with black covers, dark brown covers, dark blue covers, and this book right here with its light sky blue color, it just stood out like a sore thumb on this giant wall of books. And I walk up and look at this book, and it says World Without Cancer. I'm like,
It's Crystal. We're at work. You forgot to clock out yesterday.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
I'll be back either today before I leave at 2:30, or I was really.
I thought I had that shut off. That's but anyway, I was thinking to myself, gosh, everybody knows somebody that's died of cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I snatched that book up and read it. When I was finished reading, I was so incredibly pissed off. I've never had anything make me more angry in my life than reading that book. It's the second part of the book is called The Politics of Cancer. And it talks about how they've literally made sure that there will be cancer. And they've stripped our diet of things. They've added things. It's just like what we were talking about a little bit earlier with the iodine in the bread. Now they've replaced iodine with bromine, and
right.
And, there's a complete difference between the two. One's good for you, the other's bad for you, and
right.
That's the same thing they've done with vitamin B17, with sugar. Our main source of sugar used to be sorghum cane, and they switched it to beet and sugar cane, and there's 2 completely different things. Our main grain used to be millet, and now it's wheat. And these are things that happened by design. These were not things that just like happened by happenstance or something like that. These were just evil machinations by evil people. And my goal is to share this, because people need to understand that there are evil people in this world, and us truth seekers, we need to unite. And so, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, well, one of the things that got me is, like, if you look on cereal, it has TSP in it. Well, I used to work at Fred Meyer's in the paint department, and I was doing things. TSP is a paint remover.
And it's in what?
Yeah, and I was like, well, what the heck is that doing in cereal? And what's that doing to our bodies, Yeah. So.
Wow. That is crazy stuff. TSP, huh? I've never even heard of that. Wow.
Yeah.
But see, that's why it's so valuable you coming on here today. And I know you were a little concerned because you're, you know, a little bit
I
of
did,
stage
but
fright,
you,
as you
you,
can
did, you
see.
didn't catch me doing it in the beginning. I had to take some deep breaths.
Yeah, well,
I started petting Tasha a little bit more.
we've had a lot of people that have had that situation where had a little bit of stage fright, but once they got on here and got to talking, they realized, holy moly, this is just a little easygoing conversation with a friend. And you know, we try to keep this thing. I don't do any editing of any of the videos. It's just, you know, this is real. It's from the heart. We don't do any planning, or the only thing I ever tell anybody is that first question: how, when, and why did you get involved with Kangen water? And were you a skeptic? Other than that, I don't really tell anybody the questions that I have. But I want to bust into something real quick. Hey, Paul, the tree topper, he's scooting around in his car over there in Arkansas. What's going on there, big guy?
What's up, brother? Good morning. Good morning, Tara.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here in the parking lot.
Sitting here in a parking lot, catching the show, huh?
Just catching the show, bro.
Well, it's good to see that smiling mug, brother. I love you, man. I love
Yeah, I
you.
love you too, bro.
Thank you so much for introducing Tara to this water and helping
Oh,
her with this
heck,
life-changing mission. It's important. And
heck yeah. That little FurBall, she's pretty precious there. That's my
yeah,
girl.
I love that little comment you made that little fur ball is still alive because of Kangen water, and I believe that is.
Bro, you ought to seen that dog when I met her. She hardly had any hair at all. Mange, I called her.
Yep, you did. She had to wear a sweater to cover her up.
Poor
She's a
thing.
big old fur ball. I love
She's
it.
beautiful.
So that brings me to my next question. I love asking this question of the guests. So Tara, you're in a grocery store line, or you're sitting there at your computer, and an opportunity comes up and you only have one thing that you can say to somebody, and you've only got like 30 seconds or something like that, a real short period of time. You need to say something to them about this water to hopefully get them intrigued. What do you say?
Oh boy. I would say try this water. It can help change your life. And then if they start asking me questions, I could tell them how.
Yeah, well, it definitely changes lives. That's no doubt about it. Anybody
You know,
that actually makes the investment and drinks
and
the water,
to
they look
avoid
fine.
prescriptions. I mean, the first thing not to take cholesterol and blood pressure medicine was a big thing for me. I watched my parents have to take those, and that was one big thing I did not want to do.
Yeah. Well, like Bob Wright says, when you start eating that stuff, that's the beginning of your death.
Right.
You're
Well,
literally starting the process of killing yourself.
Well, and the lady yesterday, my dad had glaucoma and macular degenerative disease. And so I'm always having them check my eyes for that. So that's why I wanted to know her regimen, because I'm like, it's good to know, because, I'm always in front of a computer too. So my eyes get dehydrated. And so that's a good regimen to know. And then Tasha has a little blindness, and you can see the cloudiness in it, and so that people don't share that, so that's good to share. And I didn't know that you could put pink Himalayan salt in water and actually put it in your eyes, because they need to be mineralized.
Yeah, that's one thing about the 11.5 water, is that it has salt in it, and so it's really good for you in that regards. Like, it's a really good lubricant to put in your eyes. And it's also an incredibly powerful antioxidant, because people and puppies that have the cloudy eyes, what's happening is that their eyes are are oxidizing like an apple that's been cut open that's sitting out on the countertop. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening. Your eyes are literally rusting. And if you start putting this really powerful antioxidant in there, it will change everything. And in fact, I got a call from my buddy Ralph Foyer, who he was losing his eyesight, and now he's got it back. He was scared because he was thinking he was going to end up losing his driver's license because of it. And now he's got his sight back. His eyes are doing great, and he's tickled pink. And so, yeah, you guys, it's the motto of this company is change your water, change your life. It's not change your water, change your job, or change your car, or anything like that. It's a life changer. Not only is the product itself a life changer, but the people.
Right.
The people are even more of a life changer. The people that I'm now surrounded with in my life have made such a huge difference. And we have a question from Mary Belen Messiona on the live side. She says, what type of water that you can mix with Himalayan salt for the eyes? Either the 9.5 or the 11.5, Mary. Just put a little bit of the Himalayan sea salt in there, or, in my opinion, you can just use the regular, just the 11.5 water in itself, because it's getting injected with that salt. And the salt that they use, that's why I always recommend to people, when it comes to, if you're going to make your own electrolysis enhancer, which is just salt water, if you're going to make that yourself, always use only the salt that you can get from a Nagic. Don't just go get salt at the grocery store or at Wally World or something like that. Go get it directly from a Nagic, because they use pure salt with no kinds of additives. And so, but as Bob Wright talks about, the Himalayan salt is something that is really, really, really good for your body. You really shouldn't be eating any other kind of salt. But yeah, you can mix the Himalayan salt in there and put it in a dropper of some sort and just use it as eye drops. You'll be amazed at what it does for you. You have anything to add to that, Tara?
No, I don't. She was the one that gave it to me, so I'm going to try to start it on Tasha and I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just can't go wrong. I mean, I know for me, I drink every night before I go to bed, I drink 28 ounces of 11.5. The last thing I do before I go to bed.
And I was going to tell you that, like, my daughter and my girlfriend, the 11.5 has helped them with their UTIs. They were like, it's avoided them going to the doctor. So, people are like, well, I need to go to the doctor for this. I'm like, wait, honey, try this. She goes, I don't need antibiotics. I'm like, no, just try 11.5 in the morning and at night and do it for 3 days and gone. They're like, I would have had to spend a lot of money going. I'm like, exactly. So here you go. So, my family's starting to understand a little bit more and more, and friends around me are starting, but you have to kind of, like you say, give a little bit at a time so they understand it. And then when they realize it and experience it themselves, they're like, I'm starting to get it. Yeah, it does work. And then just one word of mouth going to another word of mouth tells 10 other people. So then it gets out there.
Yeah. One thing really important that we always like to make sure we interject into this conversation is that a lot of people call Kangen water, they call it miracle water or magic water, that kind of thing. I want people to understand that the miracle and the magic is not the water. It's this thing right here. This machine right here, this is the miracle. This is the magic. This thing is truly amazing, what it does. And this is a self-healing machine that will fix itself if you give it what it needs. And it's important for people to realize that your body is 75% water, which makes it the largest component of of the whole equation. And, you know, something that Barry Aw talked about that I thought was just fascinating. He said, when you go to a funeral where the person has been cremated and their body is now in that little urn, what's left of them, what's in that urn, that's the part of their body that wasn't water. I mean, that was a hard hitter right there. I went, whoa, no doubt, wow. Because I've been to like 3 or 4 funerals where they chose to be cremated, and there they are. That's it. They're in this little jug.
True.
150-pound persons in this little jug. Well, that's all of them that wasn't water. The rest of it was water, and it just went away. And there's the part that's not water. And so the other aspect of your health, you guys, you got 75% is water. Then the other 25% is your diet, your exercise, your environment, and your mindset. The old noggin, the old brain cell. See, I only have one brain cell. I'm not like most other people where they got like trillions of them. No, I just have one. I got to keep good care of that baby. It's got to last me a long time. But yeah, you know, so take care of yourself, you guys. You guys can, you know, share this information, help people understand what the big component is. And we've got it. We have it. We have special people like Tara that are out there utilizing it, not only changing their own lives, but changing other people's lives and sharing the word. You know, it's people don't know what they don't know, right?
Yep.
It's our job to show them. And, you know, like you said earlier, Tara, it's hard to deal with this company. I think personally, this is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but it's also the most rewarding. And the reason it's hard is because you feel for people. And, you know, and when somebody, you know, you can help somebody, but they're not willing to learn, that's hard on you when you have a heart and a soul. It's really hard. People think I'm just some jerk that, you know, it's like, I cried at the end of Rocky IV, for crying out loud. I cried about everything. I hurt for people, and it hurts me. But I'll tell you, Sam Tran said something that I think we can all take to heart. He said, I can't care more for your health than you do. And I was like,
wow.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go. Once I finally got over that little hurdle, that's made this business a lot easier.
That's true. If they don't care about their health, yeah.
And I've got something for all of you that, you know, I tell people this all the time, and I don't really care what they think, because this is the truth, and I'm only interested in the truth. People who say they care about their health, they literally cannot say that if they're not drinking Kangen water. If you're not drinking Kangen water, you don't give a flying rat's ass about your health. Sorry, but that's the way it is, because it is the most important component of your health. And so if you're not drinking it, then you really don't care. You might think you do, because you're eating all these organic vegetables and blah, 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 you know, but that's only part of 25%. You got to be drinking Kangen water to be able to say that you care about your health. And that's not my opinion. That's just what it is. And we need to understand that as Kangen water distributors, as world changers and life changers. We need to understand what the main component is and help people to understand it too. What I'm hoping is that by telling people that kind of straightforward stuff, that they'll look. They'll do their research. And don't do it on Google either. You want to research this water, do it on Google Scholar or PubMed.gov. Don't do it on Google. That thing is, I think it's hilarious. So when you go and punch in, give this a try, somebody, you know, whatever, just for the fun of it. Go on to Google and punch in Kangen water, Kangen, and you will literally have to scroll down about 3/4 of the way down that page before you will find anything that has anything to do with Kangen water. It's all the leeches that spend all this money to be at the top of that so that they can leech off of and suck the blood of all these gullible people out there who just want to save a buck. And you know, another thing, you guys, this is another little piece of information that I think we can all utilize, that I think it was either yesterday or the day before that I did the video with the engineer guy, the guy that builds medical devices, and he was talking about the medical grade platinum. He said that right there is something that seriously sets the Kangen water machine apart from all these other leeches that are out there. He said there's a huge difference between platinum and medical grade platinum. Medical grade platinum has to be pure. Can't have any additives in it at all. It has to be 99.99999% pure platinum. Where this just regular old platinum, it can have, you know, percentages of other metals in it. And that's what makes these things to where they should last for 100+ years. We're going to find that. We're going to find that there are Kangen water machines out there in the future that are still kicking, still pumping out that awesome water after 75 years of usage and millions of gallons of water running through them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you guys, we have something really special. And, you know, we have special people like Tara that jump on the show with us and share their incredible journeys with us. And Tara, I'd like to ask you if you have anything that, you know, just as a final parting thing, because we're about 48 minutes into this thing, and we probably ought to go ahead and get busy getting our days going. But you know, is there any last thing that you'd like to leave with the audience and the people that are going to be seeing the recording as time goes by? Any last parting shots that you'd like to get out there? Something for people to think about, something that's touched your heart, whatever.
I just try to have compassion for people, and I try to listen to what they need, and then, you know, then respond. A lot of times I found myself trying to answer before I listened. And now and you know, a lot of times people want to sell really fast, and I know that's not going to happen. Like, you have to kind of wait. I know I haven't had a lot of sales, but my sales have taken me a little while to get. I mean, my first one took a year, and the next one took a couple of years, but it was just giving them time to get to know the product. And some people will ask the same question over and over again till they understand it. You know, they want to know it. And that gets frustrating at times, but people want to know in their head, and they want to make sure they understand everything. And I was reading something the other day. They said they'll keep asking it till they know it. They want to make sure of it. So don't get frustrated when they keep asking. And that's a key, because people will ask it probably 20 different ways before they figure it out. Because I find that too in myself. I'll ask somebody a question, you know, till I know it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're that way, but if you don't, you know, if you're asking questions about something, I'll ask it a question till I know the answer, or I'll ask it a different way, because I want to know the product. I want to know what I'm getting into.
Yeah. Amen. I think that's very sound advice. And, yeah, I think we're all in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing that I firmly believe with all my heart. I'm going to have to send you a picture of my buddy who had the ulcers on his legs, or one of his legs. He had this horrible ulcer. His skin was purple.
Oh yeah.
His skin felt hard. And he gave me he took the 21-day Kong's Water Challenge because he wanted to show everybody what a scam artist I was.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Yeah, my doctor works at wound care. So he gets people with ulcers that go to the bone. And, and some of them I know personally, and it is so hard to watch. I've watched 2 people get their feet amputated that I know personally.
Yeah, and he's drinking 2 gallons of 11.5 water every day, and he's soaking his leg in the 2.5 water, and he's spraying it on the ulcers, and it's his legs coming back.
Yeah.
He sent me a message one day saying, "Thanks, J. John, you saved my life."
Right.
Well, no, I didn't. I didn't save your life. You did. You're the one who made the wise choice to try the water. Even though you were trying to make me look like a scam artist, that's okay with me because I know I'm not a scam artist. I know who's going to win that argument. And, after it was all said and done, he said, I had to level with you and tell you why I did it. Because I wanted to show everybody what a scam artist you were. And I'm sorry, but I got to eat crow.
Yeah, and he saved his foot, and he saved his leg. I mean,
yeah, he's nice. One of those rare people. He was actually begging the doctor to amputate his leg, and the doctor wouldn't do it. Amazingly enough, usually the doctor's like, "Oh, okay, cha-ching, cha-ching. There you go. That's my Beamer payment. You betcha."
But a lot of times those people are just in so much pain, and by that time they're so tired of having because it's very painful to have it debride, and I don't know how often he went, but a lot of times it's once or twice a week they have to come in and have it debride, and it's so painful. And when the patient I dealt with, he had been doing it for almost 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's good to know that there is a solution out there, kids. And that's what our job is to share that solution. People have to decide for themselves whether it is for them or not. But we're going to be here. We're going to be perking it and working it. We're going to be sharing it. We're going to be spreading this magic because that's what it is. The human machine is pure magic, and this is just the best thing that it can get. And so I know that I'm happy to be part of this. I'm glad that Brittany shared her story because it changed my life, and I'm so thankful to you, Tara, for coming in here today and sharing your story so that
Thank you for having me.
I got to tell you something too. I got a friend named Linda Spencer who I'm going to have to send you a friend request to friend up with her because you two, you're her doppelganger and she's your doppelganger because you two are a spitting image of each other. I can't wait for you to see a picture of Linda Spencer.
Okay.
The two of you look, you two are twins and you're both Kong and Water twins. She was actually the first person that bought a Kangen water machine from me. She did her research and she reached out to me and said, "I want to get my machine from you." And,
awesome.
We're longtime Ron Paul friends from the Ron Paul campaign clear back in 2008. And we've been friends ever since. But, when I saw you come on the show yesterday, I thought, "Is that Linda?" And I'm like, "Oh, it says Tara." I'm like,
you're like double take.
So there's matches that are made in heaven, and I think we all get put together for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I believe that God puts us in contact with the people that we're supposed to be in contact with.
Exactly.
And I'm grateful for that, and trying like crazy to take advantage of it and just do everything that I can that's good for the world and for myself and for my friends and family and all that kind of thing. And so, Kara, once again, honey, thank you so much for taking your time on a Saturday morning to come visit with us. Paul, thanks, brother, for introducing this beautiful angel to this water and encouraging her to come on here and share her story with us. And we just love you guys so much. We're the Kong family, brother, sister. We're here to change the world. And so thank you very much for coming on with us today. And as soon as I get this video uploaded, I'll send you the link to it so you know where it's at.
Okay.
Feel free to share it out. I know that when I come into contact with people that have dealt with fibromyalgia and thyroid issues, I'm going to be sharing your story with them. And because you just never know whose story is going to resonate with who.
No.
How we're going to change somebody's life. And the only way we can do it is by simply putting ourselves out there. So thank you. I know you were a little scared to do it. I'm so glad you did. I hope you had fun.
I did have fun, and Paul kind of pushed me. I got over my fear. You have to push through those. So baby steps. I'm growing a little day at a time.
And I thank you for bringing that little FurBall on with you too, so we could see her cute little face.
Yeah, she's pumped out. She's snoring.
Well, we love you guys so much. We are the Kong family. We're here to change the world. Get out there, you guys. Change the world, starting with your own. And of course, do not forget your hugs. You gotta have your hugs, kids. Hooty-hoo!
Good day.
Love you, honey. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the weekend. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.